I would like to open up with a solo. I'm only teasing. Listen, there are a lot of folks who are making their way here from another meeting. There were several meetings going on tonight. So I'm happy to see those of you who did journey out to join us this evening. As many of you know, there was a quadruple, I don't want to say wrong, Commissioner. It was if I remember correctly, triple, if not quadruple shooting a couple blocks from here, where a 71-year-old gentleman lost his life. Hilltop at the shopping center. A 71-year-old gentleman lost his life. And we've received a lot of calls. We had a telephone town hall meeting just last week, folks asking questions, wanting to meet with Madam Mayor and with the newly appointed commissioner. So the special presentation we have for you is you have an opportunity to witness the mayor of the city of Baltimore, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, actually officially swear in Commissioner Kevin Davis.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the City Council for confirming the Commissioner earlier this evening. And I thought, why wait? We might as well use this opportunity, since we are in my home district, the district where I was raised, to swear in the Commissioner. So I will ask you, sir, to put your right hand on the Bible and raise your right hand? Raise your right hand, put the other, all right, there we go. So I will say I, state your name, and then you'll say, Kevin Davis. You ready? I state your name.
I, Kevin Davis.
Do swear.
Do swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And that I will.
And that I will.
Be faithful and bear true allegiance.
Be faithful and bear true allegiance.
To the state of Maryland.
To the state of Maryland.
And support the Constitution.
And support the Constitution.
And laws thereof.
And laws thereof.
And that I will.
And that I will.
To the best of my skill and judgment.
To the best of my skill and judgment.
Diligently and faithfully.
Diligently and faithfully.
Without partiality or prejudice.
Without partiality or prejudice.
Execute the office of.
Execute the office of.
Baltimore City Police Commissioner.
Baltimore City Police Commissioner.
According to the Constitution of this state.
According to the Constitution of this state.
Congratulations.
I don't know about you, but that was an awesome experience. Does anyone else agree? Just show with a round of applause. It's just good to see that we have a mayor and a commissioner who are so serious about the work that he thought it not, Madam Mayor, he said, why not now? Madam Mayor, I actually thought you were joking when you said, can I swear you in right now? And he said, why not right now? But I do like the fact that he was also serious about making sure that a Bible was present. And so again, we congratulate you, sir, Commissioner Kevin Davis. So tonight we have a public safety forum in the Northwest District. As I stated, there were many who had asked that we come into the Northwest District to talk about public safety. There are many who will be joining us this evening as we go on. But without further ado, I would like to present to you Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake.
Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's my pleasure to be here with all of you, and thank you for the indulgence so we would have a chance to grab a Bible. We had a conversation and said, there's no reason to wait, and why not? In Northwest, this was a perfect place to do it. We were very grateful that the council acted swiftly on the commissioner's nomination, and we just want to keep things rolling. I certainly appreciate the Commissioner's collaborative approach to law enforcement. He has definitely won the respect of the rank and file officers and has a broad amount of community support, including faith leaders. So I am grateful that we have been able to do this evening. I'm pleased to be here with so many members of my team. I'll start in the back with our fire chief, Chief Niles Ford. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank our Public Safety Director, Stephanie Robinson. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank all of the firefighters and the police officers at every rank who are here in support of this effort. And I want to thank my Mayor's Office of Neighborhoods team that worked very hard to put this together. We know in the summer it was easier because a lot of the community associations took breaks during the summer, so we didn't have as many conflicts. We know that there's no night we could pick that wouldn't be a conflict with something. So I'm just grateful that we're here. And also, you know, that just like we do when we have the telephone town hall, this is just one part of a conversation. This is not the beginning nor the end of the conversation. So we look forward to connecting with those who could not be here this evening as much as we do look forward to hearing from you this evening. While we work to reform the Baltimore Police Department, we're also remain very focused on repeat violent offenders. We know there's a handful of people, less than 300 people, who are responsible for the vast majority of the violence that we have in our city. And we're working to focus on those individuals with Operation Ceasefire, Safe Streets, the War Room, BFED, and the Commissioner will talk about some of those. There is a clear all-hands-on-deck approach to reducing violence in our city. And none of these things happen without the help of our community. So we have our state partners, our federal partners, but it also takes the partnership with the community to ensure that we continue to make progress. I want you to know that I am using my role. We've been blessed to have some great federal partnerships, but I'm also using my role as president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors to seek extra assistance for Baltimore and for other cities. Many cities, as you know, have experienced surge in violence over the summer, and we're using that role to get more federal assistance to this work. So we know that Baltimore only becomes safer when we work together. And again, I say all the time that we're in this together. We're married, no opportunity for separation, no chance for divorce. We have to decide what type of relationship we're going to be in. And it could be a long-term, unhealthy relationship, or we could do the tough work to make it a relationship that we can be proud of, and that's my commitment to you. I forgot to mention Keisha Brown, who is here from my administration. Thank you very much. She is over the Civilian Review Board, Community Relations Commission, and her office is the only office that's authorized to do the civil rights investigations and investigate the police department. So I'm proud that you are here, and we're working hard to strengthen her office so she's able to provide even more service to the city. And I forgot to mention you. Thank you very much for being here. And with that, I'm turning it over to the newly minted Police Commissioner, Commissioner Kevin Davis.
Thank you, Ma'am. Thank you so much. Is this working, Gus? This is on. Yeah. Is it? Okay, so thank you. That was a unique, wonderful experience. Like, it was spontaneous, and those are the kind of the coolest kind. And the only thing that I must confess that I worried about was my wife's reaction. So I texted her, watch TV now. Right? So she watched it, and then I'm bracing, so I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to blame this on the mayor if she's upset. but she's not, so we're all good. So, but I appreciate the opportunity, and I won't let the mayor down, nor will I let the council down, and most importantly, I won't let the community down. It is a relationship, and speaking of relationships, the relationship between your police department and the grassroots protest community is one that's in progress. And it didn't exist back in April and May. It exists now. It doesn't exist perfectly, but they know my name. They used to know my cell phone number. right? But we know each other, and we actually spent Sunday afternoon sitting down at the table, myself, Lieutenant Colonel Mel Russell, who is known and loved throughout this city, and I can't do it without him, and a sergeant who's well known within the grassroots community as well. So we had a good conversation on Sunday, and the good thing about that conversation is it's not going to be the last one, and we will continue to work with the grassroots community, the community at large, so we get to a better place in the coming months, because we're going to face some moments that will challenge us in the months ahead, and we realize that. So I want to thank also from the police department, someone who was out, and he's all over the city, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Marcus, 30-plus year veteran. Thank you, Colonel. And the acting major rather, he is your commander, but he's an acting major, another 30-plus year veteran of the BPD, who, Bernie Douglas, thank you so much. And your previous commander, and the toughest thing in a police department is moving a commander. So it's really tough, especially someone who's beloved like Mark Partee was. So Mark Partee is now the commander of our training and education section. There's no more important job on the police department, and I know it was tough taking him from the Northwest District. He was actually, Pam, was that tough? I know, were you mad at me for a couple days? So he was, it was an easy decision to make. He was the longest serving in terms of tenure district commander in the city. So he put in a lot of work. So now we think he'll represent us well in the academy. And we're constantly stealing pages from other people's playbooks. So, and then I'll be quiet, when it comes to recruiting and retention, Chief Ford is doing a lot with his recruiting pop-outs that the fire department's doing. You've probably seen them throughout the city. So we too have formed a recruiting and retention committee. We want to identify more folks homegrown in Baltimore. We want folks to live in the city more than they do now. So we're going to be as creative as humanly possible, and there's no bigger proponent for that type of effort than Chief Ford and what he's done on the fire department and continues to do. So I look up to him. So then I'll just close with this other relationship piece, and then I'll turn it back over to Gus. BFED is something that's very, very real. And it frustrates me that I can't share all the victories that we're experiencing under BFED, because most of those victories are wrapped up in ongoing investigations for the 200 plus, less than 300, 200 plus folks who we've identified as people who have harmed the community and are prone to continue to harm the community, if not for some collaborative enforcement action. So we have commitments from the U.S. Attorney and all the special agents in charge of the federal law enforcement agencies in the city. BFED continues indefinitely. They realize the benefits from it, and it will take place. We live in a world of instant gratification. It can't happen fast enough for us to get back to that moment of calm, but we will get there, and we won't rest until we get there. So, Gus,
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. As we move forward with the forum, there's another person I would like to present to you. She is a legend in her own right, certainly a stakeholder in the Northwest community, she's the former assistant superintendent of Baltimore City Schools. She also has the privilege of being the first female vice president of Coppin State University. She's also the founder of Aunt Hattie's Place, and I would like for you to welcome, as she gives a very brief presentation as she talks about Violence Prevention Week. Her name is Dr. Hattie Washington.
Good evening. I give honor to God, first of all. And I want to say to the mayor, it is my pleasure to see you and to be here with you on this particular occasion and with all of the people in Baltimore City. This is a very, very special time. This is a very, very special time for our youth and for everyone. And to be here in Baltimore City with the mayor and the police commissioner and all of the persons here who are involved and are concerned with Baltimore City. I represent, first of all, my church, the People's Community Baptist Church, now in Silver Spring, but Pastor Robinson used to be right down the street here at Calvary. I also represent on Hattie's Place, where over 20 years we've been raising young men who was considered violent. Many of these young men had been abused when they come to Hattie's Place. And over 20 years we've been able to turn these young men around. And the first young man I got, he was 8 years old, and now in December he's graduating from Coppin State with a degree in teaching. So we can do this. And he was on, I don't know how many types of medication, had all the labels, ADD, HD. He was emotionally disturbed, behavior disordered, behind 2-3 grade levels. But if you don't get a chance because you don't have a stable environment, and you're in one school after another school or no school because you're trying to find a place to lay your head, then of course you're going to get behind. That's just fact. You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that. I'm also representing the group of people that I am involved with because of my young men, called the Black Women for Positive Change. And this is a group of national persons who are looking at preventing violence across the country. And we just had the kickoff on last Saturday in Washington, and the co-chair, the honorary co-chair of that movement is attorney Benjamin Crump. He's the famed civil rights attorney, and then Reverend Bishop Charles Blake, who is over all of the Church of God in Crisis. And then it is really co-chaired by Dr. Stephanie Myers and Delegate Hester out of Virginia. So we had a wonderful opening on the kickoff, and each university, each church, each program is now this week, we're putting highlight on nonviolence. We're looking at prevention. We're looking at school systems, how you stop bullying, how do you do anger management, how do we do conflict resolution. We want to always be preventive if we can, rather than always reactive. And then we got 20/20 hindsight after something has happened. So we want to look at what we're going to do. At Coppin State, we're having events all this week. There's a group of film out, one of the ones called On Second Thought, for young people to look at that film and think about, if you do something, if you had a second thought about it, if you had a second chance, what would you do? Many times our young people don't have a second chance. But when they see that film, it is so profound. It is a story. It's based on a true story. They get to talk about it. We showed it at my boys' home, and you should hear the comments they make about that. In my book, I talk about why I felt I needed to open a home for foster boys. And what is the national blueprint? A lot of people are marching and studying and talking to going and reading and discussing. We've been doing this 20 years. We think we got the answer on what are successful strategies to reach our young people. So in the chapter, I have a chapter called If I Grow Up, not When I Grow Up. If I grow up. Because a lot of young people don't think they're going to get past 18. And if they do, they're going to end up in jail or have a record. And if they do and they come out, they can't get a job, they can't go to school because they have a record. So we look at some recommendations from the young people that we can move forward. So if you go to the website called Black Women for Positive Change, you can download all the movies for free and show them to your church, show them to your organization. The other one is called The Drop. Talk about dropouts from school. Shows you 2 kids. One dropped out, one didn't. And so you see kids that grew up on the same block and wonder why he has a house, he has a car, he has a nice family, he does not. And it's from a child's standpoint. So they can see it and they can understand why it's important to stay in school, because a lot of crime comes from those people who have dropped out of school. And then at the end, our mayor, we have a pledge that the Black Women for Positive Change have come up with that's going to be read nationwide all this week by different school systems, by different churches. And we want persons to look at that pledge and pledge, have your kids to pledge that they're going to think before they act, that they're going to promote peace and nonviolence and prevention. And that's what we want to do with the Black Women for Positive Change. And at the end of the day, we will all be better, because when you put the money up front rather than on the other end, then we all, as citizens, don't pay the taxes to incarcerate kids. Because if any other country has as many kids locked up as we have in our country of African American males, it'll be a crisis in that culture. And we need to know that it is a crisis in this country for our young Black boys and other young people who are being locked up. So again, I want to thank the mayor and all the persons in Baltimore City. Cheryl says hi, by the way. Of what you're doing in Baltimore City. Because if you can do it here in Baltimore City, other mayors, Rawlings, can do it. Absolutely. And we are so proud of her. She is the president of all the other mayors in the whole United States. Isn't that make you proud? So that means we're going to do some great things across the country in prevention of violence. And we hope this week, the 17th through the 25th, be thinking about anything you can do to talk to your relatives, your churches, your organization, and what we can do to prevent violence and to talk about peace and love. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Washington. We have 2 microphones in the room for the floor. Those of you who would like to ask a question as we go directly into the Q&A for tonight, we're asking that you first raise your hand, and we will actually ask you to come up. And when you come up, give us your name and the neighborhood or community that you're representing. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Klondike Potts, and I'm the president of the Garrison Hill Community Association. The mayor asked the question, I may be paraphrasing, but was this a proud moment? I'm 66 years old, born and raised in Baltimore, and I'm sitting there, and I kept saying a prayer. Calm down. My heart was beating so fast. I said, calm down, because I didn't see it as a proud moment. I look at Baltimore, and I look at everything that has been going on, you know. And then I look at this meeting, and I look around at everyone. And what I see, this room should have been packed. People should have been outside. They shouldn't even been able to get up Forest Park, because a lot of things are going on in Baltimore that people do not like. There's a lot of people that's not pleased with the mayor. There's some that's pleased. There's a lot of people that aren't pleased that the commissioner that just had been sworn in. And I was like, the strategy to do this with everything else that's going on in Baltimore today, the PCDA, I may be using the wrong acronyms and things, but it just saddens my heart. And personally, I feel like too many of us, older people, and when I say older, I'm talking about, you might be in your 40s and coming on up. We failed the young people because we have not set an example for them to follow. We don't support them. And basically, I'm proud of the young people that are picketing, but long as they're doing it not in a violent way. I am proud of them. I will support them. And bottom line, I'm just disappointed in our leaders and what is done. They're setting things in place so that Baltimore will stay business as usual. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Copeland, and I'm the Vice President of Ashco East Coppin Heights Community Association. That's actually in Western District, but I wasn't able to make the Western District meeting, so I thought I'd come here tonight. We all have the same problems in every district, so it really doesn't matter. Everybody knows what the problems are. What I'd like to say, I'm actually not going to have a complaint. I want to have a congratulations to the police department because I see an improvement in a major problem, and that is the dirt bike issue. There seem to be less dirt bikes on the road now. I drive all over the city. They're all through my neighborhood. They're all through this neighborhood. And I saw a group of them. I came through Park Circle on the way up here. There were a few of them out there, but not in the hordes that they were in the past. And I think that's because of the effort that the police department made to stem some of that problem. There have been, as you know, at least 2 deaths of dirt bikers, one in East Baltimore, one in West Baltimore near my home, young people who were killed riding dirt bikes. There was a young lady who was killed by a dirt bike right up the street from here. There was a child in Cherry Hill who was critically injured. And so these dirt bikes, they're not just a nuisance, they're a tremendous danger. And I want to urge you, Commissioner, to keep your officers. I know there's a no chase policy, but there are ways and strategies that you can use to curtail this problem. Please continue to do that. And as for the mayor, there was some proposal I heard that I thought was really crazy to have a special place in Baltimore City to have dirt bikes where they could ride, as though that's going to keep them off the streets, and it will not. And so if such a bill were ever to come before you while you're mayor, please veto it. Please do what you can to kill it before it gets there. But I think it's a crazy idea. We need to stop these dirt bikes, and because they are a danger. They're not just a nuisance, they are a tremendous danger. I thank you for the work that you're doing doing for it now. Please continue to do that.
Good catch. Good catch.
Mr. Copeland, can I say this? And it's a little bit ironic that he's here tonight, but Lieutenant Colonel Bill Marcus, right behind you, more than any other person on the police department, he has been personally engaged with the dirt bike riders more than anyone. And if we're at a better place now, we're probably not at a perfect place, but if we're at a better place, it's because of him. So.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is it someone who got up
Right
there?
here in the second row.
Good evening and congratulations. My name is Catherine Mullen. I'm relatively new to the area. I've been in Maryland 3 years, and I've been in the city of Baltimore a year and a half. I'll borrow a phrase from another city that I lived in. I am urban by choice. When I moved to the area and had been here a year and a half, my dictate to my realtor was, find me a place in the city. I want an urban neighborhood and I want an urban village. And I found both, and I am very, very happy, and I thank you. What brings me here tonight is what seems to be emerging as a recurring theme, and that's our young people. As happy as I am also deeply troubled. Deeply troubled on a number of levels, but the messages that are being sent to our young people about how we feel about them and what they deserve. I'm deeply troubled when I travel Reisterstown Road and Park Heights and the surrounding streets, and I see the blight. It makes me sad, so I couldn't imagine waking up every morning looking at that. We know what the buildings, we know that they sometimes provide a safe haven for the criminals, and they make your job more difficult when you're trying to protect us. I've spent 30+ years working in community corrections, behavioral health, and with young people. And again, I'm just really concerned about what message we may be sending them when they continue to have to get up and live and look. I mean, it doesn't make me feel good, so I can only imagine. I know that there are initiatives like Vacants to Value and some other things going on. How well are those programs progressing, and are any efforts underway to speed the process?
So first, thank you for choosing Baltimore, and thank you for coming out this evening. As I said when I opened, I know that there are a lot of competing events going on throughout the district, so I appreciate everyone who was able to be here. Ms. Mullen, the challenge is that we know that this didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. What I can tell you is, particularly with the issue of blighted and abandoned homes, I take that issue very seriously, because I understand that when you have vacant homes, abandoned homes, neglected homes, it's like a cancer in the community. I was walking around 8:30 this morning, what was that, Rosemount? With a community, and you can see what happened. It's like anthropology. You know, you can see, okay, this happened first, and after that, you know, you can tell that the housing, you know, was vacant. After it was vacant, it got broken up. After it got broken up, people started throwing trash in. After people throwing trash in the front, then they started in the back, and then you can see it. And we know that this has been an issue in Baltimore for over 50 years. But I knew that when I became mayor that I had an opportunity to do something different. And when we created Vacants to Value, I'm very, very proud to say that it has received international acclaim for being an effective and innovative urban initiative to eliminate blight. The Able Foundation did a thorough review of Vacants to Value, and they said it's the most comprehensive blight elimination plan that the city has had in over 40 years. And I say that to give you hope, the same hope that is being seen in some communities where it's been a concentration of investment and these neighborhoods are turning around, because it's not going to happen all at once. You know, I said it's like, you know, I probably could find a better analogy, but I keep talking about if you're the 600-pound man. You know, if he loses 200 pounds, that's monumental, but he's still morbidly obese. And if you saw him at 400 pounds, you wouldn't think that he had done anything, because he still have a significant problem. But it's you know, we quadrupled the investment in demolition. You know, we've made, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head with the amount of demolitions, the amount of rehabs, but it's significant. But we still have a long way to go. And I know that, and particularly in this community, there is a lot of work that is planned with Park Heights Renaissance. And I want to thank Cheo. I saw him is he still here? I want to thank him. He was here earlier. Because particularly in this community, we're working very hard to be intentional and strategic about the demolition dollars, so we're able to get more investment. So it's coming. It can't come fast enough, but I can tell you that every single day we work to make sure that we are getting it right. We're having our 5th anniversary of Vacants to Value next month. And we're having national experts come in. We're talking to people because we want to make sure that yes, it's a program, people like it, but what else can we do? How else can we improve it? Last week I was in a community where we're training individuals who are hard to employ in deconstruction. So we're getting a double bonus. We're getting the vacant homes taken down, but it's not just for naught. They're taking it down. They're selling the wood. They're selling the bricks. They are establishing an employment history, and it's like a full circle. And that's just one example of ways that we're really pushing for Vacants to Value to have a deeper impact on the community. So, like I said, my hope is that we'll be able to see it more in more neighborhoods, but that work is happening throughout the city, and it gives me hope that we're going to be able to continue the progress towards transforming our city.
I have faith.
Thank you. Go to the mic.
Yes, sir, please.
Good evening. I'm Stan Fishkind. I'm the Vice President of the Falstaff Improvement Association and the Chairman of the Board of the Northwest Citizens Patrol. First off, we have had many decades of working and partnering with the police department, and thank God our neighborhoods are relatively in good shape. The major problem that we have are property crimes and not problems with people. So that is a thank God situation. When I heard your talk about the 300 identified criminals, my question is, Can the department talk to the use of artificial intelligence systems which other cities have been using to track and predict what happens to these 300-plus people? These kinds of folks are very predictable. They are understood, and they are easily mapped by artificial intelligence systems. I know the department has been dabbling in this, but I don't know how far along we are in deploying the system. So my question is, can the department speak to its use of artificial intelligence systems? Question mark.
I'd have to sit down with you, and maybe if you're
With pleasure.
Plan on saying, so I just need to get your
It's a toughie.
artificial intelligence
I
defined.
used to be the chief engineer at NASA for the
Okay.
space station, and
Sure.
the space telescope, and all those other systems, and chief information officer. So I know the topic very well, and I know it's a tool that the department has been using in the past, but I don't know how far along we are in its implementation.
Sure. So we have analytical intelligence, and that serves as a decent predictor. And so when we look
Right.
at people who are prone to offend, or we look at people who are likely to be victimized by crime, we look at past crimes, past arrests, but we also look at things like education and poverty and housing and
Right,
things that
right.
predispose someone to.
Right, those are all great precursors to this kind of
Sure.
activity.
I'd love to exchange numbers with you afterwards, and
With pleasure.
we
Okay.
just appointed a new director of our analytical intelligence, and maybe I can hook you up with him.
Fantastic. Last question. There's a new law on the books. It's for disturbing the peace, Article 19, subsection 43B. This is the one that deals with loud noises, large parties happening at night, and it's passed various stages and its implementation. My question is, where are we in implementing this? Because we have a lot of neighbors who are very unhappy when we have people who are disregarding the peace and tranquility of the neighborhoods, partying up from 8 p.m. till 3, 5 o'clock in the morning. So can we speak to that?
Sure. So some districts have been more effective than others so far at implementing that nuisance abatement. I see Colonel Marcus shaking his head. So when we can establish that probable cause when it comes to a loud event, a loud party, obviously we have to warn, we have to identify a person responsible for it. But we're certainly not opposed to identifying someone who's responsible for disrupting the tranquility of a community and holding him or her accountable. That's something we'll continue to work on. I don't know, Colonel Marcus, if you want to add to that, but we've.
Actually, there are districts that use it more than others. The Northern District, excuse me, sir, sorry.
To the mic.
Oh, there you go.
The Northern District uses it more so probably than any other districts. And I think what I'll do is, because the Northern District falls under my area as well, I think I'll benchmark from what they're doing there and bring it to us here. And at all the separate community meetings, I'll remember that article and I'll bring it out and I'll let you know exactly what we're doing with it. It's Article 19, Section 43. Is that correct, sir? 43B?
You got it.
Okay, so look for it. Everyone look for it. It's coming.
Very good. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Actually, the gentleman in the blue hat had his hand up early, and then we can come to you, Steve.
Good evening, everybody. Congratulations, Cap.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Paul Williams, and I didn't have any intentions really come up saying anything tonight, but after Dr. Washington spoke, it gave me a little bit of courage, right? I'm an ex-offender, and I found out and done an investigation of why I became an ex-offender. In my early part of my life, 9 years old, my father passed away, and my mother got married again. And I was the subject of an abusive father from the age of 9 all the way up to about 16 years old. And I wound up getting in a lot of trouble, going to jail and this and that, because I was consistently told I was nothing, nobody, would never be anything. And Coppin State College came into the prison, and I got interested in the program and stuff, and I started taking classes, and I took an interest in psychology so I could basically understand me, not really try to psychoanalyze anybody else, right? And I found found out and realized that I actually had a brain, you know, because I started getting A's, and right now, fast forward, I'm a graduate, have my bachelor's degree, I'm a 4.0 student. And I'm in grad school now. Matter of fact, I should be in class tonight, but I had an interest to come up here tonight to just listen and stuff and try to learn some things going on, because all the stuff that's going on in the city with the youth and then ex-offenders, right? It seems like they not really the ones that's doing positive things like myself is not, don't have a role and not playing a part. But when I heard Dr. Washington talk about the Doors House and stuff like that, you know, I actually really wanted to, you know, put some insight into, because during my time, when I was coming, it wasn't no programs, you know, it wasn't no counselors and stuff. My program became a prison where I had to learn, but through the grace of God, you know, I took a positive step and I found out who I was. You know, and now, you know, since I'm here, you know, I wanted to just say if any programs are planning on being put in place, I would like to keep in touch with the police department and Dr. Doors and play a role. And some of these young guys, you know, if you've been on both sides of the fence and now you get ready to step into the professional arena, I would like to be able to touch bases, you know, with some of these young men coming up, because sometimes I know, not just coming from a book, I know what they're going through. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, thank you very much for being here. And please make sure you fill out the information so we have your contact information so we can connect you with our reentry individual, you know, the individual in our office that focuses on the returning community.
Absolutely.
A lot of things we're doing.
And I think Tony White, there's a gentleman who's going to come up to you, Mr. Williams. Were you with us last week, Mr. Williams? I thought it. Yes, okay. I thought your face.
Let me know if you.
Ms. Blake been working with me on
I know.
Good.
Let me know if you need me to write you a note for class.
Well, you sworn in a commission, so you can work something out.
There you go.
All right.
See how we worked it out?
Worked out. It's worked out. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to comment, Commissioner Davis?
No, we
okay.
obviously need more people like Mr. Williamson, and I'm looking forward to it. You've got credibility, and that's half the battle.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Johnson. I, too, am a member of the Garrison Hill Community Association, 6th grade social studies teacher at Connections School. My sentiments, I guess, will be reiterated as far as a young person. I'm 28 years old, and I don't see any of my peers or any other persons of this community that I know really have the issues. And to speak to the gentleman who has noise ordinance problems, honestly, sir, you are in a great boat. Even though it doesn't seem like it, I wish all we had down here was noise ordinance problems. You know? So saying that to say, I understand that there were other meetings tonight, but honestly, I really think that it was a disservice to have it tonight if we couldn't have a full body. And I say that because there's more people with the city of Baltimore badge than it is people that have badges because I live in this community, that actually have a zip code and an address that reside here, that can really speak to you to really get answers as to, you know, the issues and concerns that they have. And then to move on to the vacancy to value, I understand that, you know, it's been a heralded program, and I think that the program is very great. I think it's an awesome idea. But honestly, I see it in this area as just an idea, and that it really hasn't come to fruition. When you look at, as Gus said, you know, multiple shooting down there where a 71-year-old man was murdered, where you look at other young men who look like me are murdered, are taken out on our streets every day, where my two daughters, you know, go. You know, my daughter goes to school down there where we work and play. I think that the vacancy to value, the answer that was given of it can't come sooner, is actually not okay. I think it has to come sooner. because we will continue to have chalk outlines and blood on the streets of this district, this area, until the blight and until the vacant housing is addressed. If we go to Loyola Northway, Loyola Southway, you will see total communities that have been obliterated, where people could actually be inhabiting those places, people who have jobs, who have means, and to restore the community. So now we're talking about sustainability. So I really don't think that it's coming is sufficient. It needs to be here, and I think that we need to hear a plan and an outline as to when it's going to come and when the bulldozers are going to start moving, when the rehabs are going to take place, so that we can have a viable and sustainable 2 and 2 and 5.
So first, Mr. Johnson, thank you for being here. And don't go anywhere. First, thank you for being here, and I understand your sentiment about who should be here. Understand that these meetings have gone on for months, and they will. At some of our public safety forums, it's been standing room only. And we have some that are like this. But we're not going to stop having them. The community, people your age, they're welcome, just like you're welcome here, just like Mr. Copeland is from Western District, he's here. You're welcome at people are welcome at any meeting, public safety meeting. So we can stand around and complain about the fact that nobody's here, or we can make sure that on any given week, I am making myself available to talk to the public about things that are important. With respect to value, you as a teacher understand process and understand history and understand that there's no way to flip a switch and reverse 50 years of disinvestment. So to say it can't come soon enough, compared to what? Name an administration, name a city that has flipped a switch and eliminated blight. It isn't one. This is a problem that existed for decades, for generations, and it is going to take time to fix it. So to say it's not sufficient compared to what? This is a program that I have quadrupled the amount of resources that are going into demolition. If you think that's insufficient, I'll take that. But I know it's daggone more than anybody else did that sat in my seat. That's right. So I'm very proud of what I've been able to do, and I continue to be proud of the progress that we're going to be able to bring forward to the city.
May I reply?
Thank you.
Oh, so I do. I want to say that I understand that when you said, well, we can sit around and complain. And I understand that notion. But what I can also say is that you have to know your audience and you have to know the people that you're speaking to. So if you look at other communities, maybe just sending it out at 5 o'clock in the morning, when I heard of this meeting, 5 o'clock this morning, and I was able to come, that's okay. But if you know your audience, sometimes you may have to use other tactics. You got to pass out flyers. You have the ears of the city. You can hop on the radio stations. You can tell them to talk about these things. So what I'm saying is maybe us going to the drawing board and using other tactics to get people involved based upon where you're coming will probably bring a better outcome.
I'm sorry you heard about it this morning. And I'm also, I would love for this to be filled. But as I said before, we've had standing room only crowds and we've had small crowds. I am going to continue to host these meetings if 2 people show up. I've announced these on the radio. I've announced it via Twitter. We've done canvassing in neighborhoods. We've done all types of things to get the word out. I'm sorry that you just heard about it today. We remain committed to getting the word out. I can't control everybody's schedule, but I can control my accessibility. And my commitment is to make sure that we're doing these either weekly or every other week, yes, that we're doing either cabinet community or public safety forum or a telephone town hall. I'm striving to be in constant communication with the community. And I'm sorry this does not meet your standards, but we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to do that.
Thank you. And I would like to say that it was enough to get you here, and we're going to hear from Ms. B. Scott right now. Mr. Robert, I appreciate it, Mr. Johnson. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I am so glad at 5 o'clock this morning you were so moved to make the decision to be with us this evening, Mr. Steve. I really appreciate you. Ask that. Thank you. Miss, yes, ma'am, your name and your neighborhood.
Beatrice Scott, Ashburton Area Association, Ashburton Neighborhood. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. And I'm very impressed with Mr. Williams. We all are, and it's just a wonderful story. And we'd like to see that multiplied in droves. And his point is so well taken in terms of not just young men, but people who need gainful employment. And I recently heard that in a few years, a plumber will be making as much as a psychiatrist. So there's a lot of business for plumbers, for electricians. And I look at our populations who need work and they need some kind of skill. And I know we have Mervo, I'm sure there are some other vocational schools, but I really question, everybody's not going to college. And it's wonderful, the ones who do and the ones who can. But there's a lot of money to be made out here in some of these lucrative professions. And I'd like to know, what kind of assessments the city is making in terms of education for those who are not going to college, but for those who have hands and have brains and who can use them?
So first, thank you very much for all that you do for the community that where I was raised in Ashburton. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming out this evening. So I can say that I've been in communication with the school system. You know that the school system is operated and run by the board, jointly appointed by the governor and I, but then independently run. That aside, we've had communications as late as last week about how we can expand career and vocational training in the schools. And I can tell you that there's a firm commitment from this CEO and the board to do more, to have a continuum of education that leads to college, that prepares our young people for college, career, and life. Meaning that they have the tools that if they graduate from high school, that they can sustain themselves. And whether it's that they're prepared to go to 2-year or 4-year college, whether they're prepared to go into training, even some of the programs, where's our fire chief? In the work that he's doing, he is training high school students, so when they graduate, come up and tell us about the certification that they'll have, so they can come on up. You knew it was coming.
Madam Mayor, as Chief 4 comes up, I just wanted to announce that there's someone trying to exit the parking lot, and there is a Volkswagen with temporary Maryland tags. Your number, and you probably don't even know this, but it's 52983. Since it's temporary, it's gone. It's gone? Okay, all right, thank you. We didn't tow it, did we? We didn't. No, okay.
Ma'am, my name is Niles Ford, and I'm the fire chief, of course. One of the programs that we have going on when I was in the process of getting hired, one of the things the mayor talked about doing is offering opportunity for people here in the city of Baltimore. And we came up with a plan to develop programs in the school system that trains young people that are interested in the fire and the EMS services to become nationally certified as a firefighter and as an EMT basic. Right? Thank you. And we right now we have it in 2 schools. Have it in Douglas, and we have it in any other time. I'll spit out the school. Vivian Thomas. Thank you. In fact, the kids from Vivian Thomas, we recently just hired 4 of them. At least we're in the process of hiring 4 of them, I believe. Am I right, Captain Clark? Yes, sir. Okay. So we're committed to give these young people opportunities. The fire service, we understand, as far as me being a firefighter and all the people that are in the organization that we're a part of, that the fire service is a transgenerational changer. If we can get young people hired into our system, their lives are going to be better, their kids' lives and their kids' lives are going to change. So we're committed to this. Next year, we're actually looking at expanding it. In fact, what we're discussing with the Board of Education to do next year, is to draw from all the schools in the city to select kids that are interested, young people that are interested, and basically take them to our training facilities certain times during the week, that they spend time with our people and train with our people. We already have teachers put out, people from our system put out there, but they'll have access to our entire training staff if we do what we're trying to do. And what it does, when they complete the program, complete high school, they will walk out with certifications that they could be hired in fire EMS anywhere in the country because they're national qualifications.
That's wonderful. I think that's wonderful, and I just want to emphasize that there's a selective population that might move into that track, which is wonderful. However, all of us have bathrooms, and we have plumbing, we have electrical issues, and there's so much work to be done, and there's so much money to be made by quality trained persons in those areas. And so I just encourage, we have a lot of houses, vacancy values, we got these houses and they need fixing up and also maintaining. So I'd like to see our young people really skilled and employed in these areas too. Okay, thank you.
May I just respond to that, please?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I didn't know someone was waiting.
She's deferring to you if you wanted to respond. Or would you like to just respond to Ms. B directly? That way you can just.
To the group, and just to say, please, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And remind your federal legislators, because so much of education policy has been driven nationally over the past few decades. And that's where we saw some of those vocational programs that had children getting out of school with skills to pay the bills, got sidetracked in deference to things like making everybody career and college ready, which is a fallacy. And, No Child Left Behind left so many children behind. And so please, let's keep our federal legislation.
And just one more thing.
And then we've been left locally
I'm just wondering
it up.
if maybe the unions had some influence. I don't know, maybe they had a selective path that you had to go through for them, and maybe our public educational system could not fully participate, or whatever it is. So that's the issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, beautiful kings and queens. This is a proud moment for me. I don't know about you or anyone else, but this is a proud moment for me. I'm 32 years old, so I am in your age. You mentioned Connections. That's the school that I've been mentoring at, and the only female mentoring program there. And it goes beyond inside the school. So as for me, this is a proud moment. Sometimes we are so used to, sometimes we are so used to of losing that we don't realize that we're winning. And we are so used to playing checkers that we cannot comprehend a chess move. And putting you in position, that was a chess move. So I thank you, Madam Mayor. And as I stated before, you have accomplished moves that no other person in your position, male or female, have accomplished, and I would say that boldly. So I thank you for that. Seriously, we can write and protest on negative things, but we can't come and support something good. So my question to you, as me as a mentor, me as a community activist, a radio host and producer, what can I do more? Even on the website that I relaunched, I made sure that it was employment opportunities, links to your jobs, GED programs, but still get the calls like I gotten last Saturday. That's so heartbreaking. One of my young girls that I mentor, I was actually called to the hospital because she was sexually assaulted by her brother. viciously sexually assaulted by her brother, and no family was down there, and she was calling out for me. That goes beyond the school, because that's at your school. She goes to your school. So me as a mentor, what can I do more? Me as a community activist and a mother of 2 sons and grew up in this area, what can I do? Is there some type of public announcement I can do weekly? I try my best. I try to remain positive, and I will always remain positive. And because I believe that I am that bridge in a community that fills the gap. What can I do? It won't cost. I just want to get the message out there. What can I do from both of you guys? And congratulations again.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do. And I would say just continue to do. You know, I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with the enormity of the problems, and think that some of the challenges that we face are intractable and that we're not going to be able to be successful. And I think sometimes as well, you know, some people make you feel that way, that your hard work and your sincere efforts aren't enough. But I would tell you to keep going, because every day that you put out that message, every day that you put yourself out there as a positive role model, you will never know the lives that you've touched. You will never know what seed that you have sown into somebody's spirit that has given them the strength, you know, to do what they need to do. And you can't know, but you can definitely know if you stop, it's not going to happen. You can't assume that somebody else is going to do it, because somebody else doesn't have your testimony. They don't have your story. They can't connect in the way that you do. God put that on your heart to do. So just stay encouraged and keep doing it every day. And if there's ways that we can continue to push the word out there, we're right there with you. Between your Twitter followers and my Twitter followers, we got enough to get the word out there. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Pamela Curtis Massey. I just wanted, before we go to the next person, one of the questions, Madam Mayor, one of the points that one of the persons have made, one of our residents made, was an opportunity to engage. And you referenced the fact that each week there is some form of engagement, be it a telephone town hall where we have literally thousands of residents throughout the city who join us. The 2 top issues discussed when we poll is public safety and sanitation. Those are done practically bi-weekly. We have crime and grime walks, which you actually facilitate throughout the city, different neighborhoods. We had one this morning, another one on Thursday. Again, the top 2 issues, public safety, crime, sanitation, grime. We have Cabinet of the Community, which we hosted right here in this district just a few months ago. And the 2 top issues that were polled, public safety and sanitation. And we have, again, public safety forums. As Madam Mayor stated, there are some forums where there are 200 people and it's standing room only. And then there are other forums where we may have 25 to 30 people. But it doesn't stop us from wanting to continue to engage and offer an opportunity to hear from you. And so those of you who did come out tonight, we value your input, we value your time, and we thank you for joining us. Yes, sir, your name and your neighborhood.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pastor Paul Rooks, and I'm out of the Southern District area. Congratulations to you, Commissioner, and Madam Mayor, thank you for inviting me out. You sent me a message on Facebook, and I responded. I sent it out to a group of other people, and I see they haven't shown up. You know, I do a lot in the communities. I'm one of those pastors that I do a lot of work outside of the church. I'm in the communities. A lot of times after you guys go and clean up the murders, a week later or a couple days later, I'm out there with a couple other group of people. And one thing I'm noticing is, you know, even tonight I hear us talking about our young people, but I don't hear anybody talking about this new drug addiction that they are on. You know, our young people now, almost 30% are struggling from over-the-counter drugs. And a lot of these murders and killings that we'll witness are them out there robbing each other to get the money to get it. I'm talking about Percocet, I'm talking about Bukes, I'm talking about a couple of these drugs that's on the street now, and it's addictive to our young kids. And it's causing them to act out rationally, and they're doing a lot of foolish things, and we're seeing the results of it. The other thing I want to talk about is that when I'm in these communities and we're praying, we can't get the neighbors to come out because everybody's afraid. It's like in our own neighborhoods, people are afraid to say anything to the young people. They're afraid to call the police, because they're either afraid of the kids that are out there that's terrorizing the neighborhoods, or either they're afraid of the police departments. Now, I'm just wondering, because I came up with an idea, because I saw something work many years ago. There was a time where there was a neighborhood, and it was very corrupted. And the police decided that they were going to knock on the doors of the neighborhoods. And they was giving them the 411 call. And they said, look, all we need is a description of who's ever out here doing harm or any type of activity, drug activity or whatever, and we're going to come around and we're going to investigate. And that's what they did. They didn't want a name. All they wanted was a description. And the neighbors started calling it up. They cleaned up the whole neighborhood. So, Commissioner, my question for you is, how are you going to lead a team of officers in this neighborhood, in these communities, to build back up the relationship with the public or with the communities?
Well, the first thing that I pledge to you that I'll do is listen to people like you with ideas. Because sometimes what worked in the past that ended up on the shelf, for whatever reason, needs to be taken off the shelf and dusted off and reinstituted. And one of the biggest partners that I have on the Baltimore Police Department that will help make those innovative things happen to get us to a different place, and you probably saw the lights dim when he walked into the room, is Lieutenant Colonel Mel Russell. I said, Mel, you can wave. So right now in this room, this is unique. There are 3 30-plus year veterans in this room. So, Mel, I won't tell everybody you came on in 1979 when I was 10. Okay. But 30-plus year veteran. Bernie Douglas, 30 years. Bill Marcus, 30 years. So I've sat around with these leaders and Officer Friendly. Officer Friendly has now been taken off the shelf, and we're reinstituting it in a different way. So foot patrols have been taken off the shelf. The challenge with foot patrols nowadays is we have to actually teach it as a curriculum, because we just can't compel police officers to get out of your car and engage in a foot patrol, because unfortunately, they don't know what that means. They just don't. They're smarter than us. They're definitely smarter than me. They're IT savvy, but they don't have the interpersonal skills as generations gone by have had. I know one day someone said that about me, but I'm relying on the leadership that's been around here for a long time to instruct and advise me what used to work that for whatever reason went away, and how can we reintroduce it in 2015 in a better way. And if that knock and talk idea with the 411 cards is something we got to do, I'm willing to do it, because other methods that we have that are available to people to anonymously report crime aren't generating the information that we need.
One of the Safe Street leaders, we had a conversation. He said, Pastor Rooks, he said, one of my biggest problems is getting the people out in the community to come out of the houses. Yeah. He said, just like now, there were 3 kids who got shot by, I think it was 163. And it was a group of us, maybe 20 of us, and we were inviting the neighbors out, but they wouldn't come out because they were afraid. He said, now the only time I hear from them if it's one of their kids that has been killed. So I'm trying to figure out, what can we do to get the communities back out? How can we come together collectively as far as trying to restore our neighborhoods? Because we can point the finger at you, and we can point the finger at the mayor like we've always done. But when it comes to this type of meetings, look at this place. This is ridiculous. And I'm tired of blaming. When I hear the slogan, do Black Lives Matter, I question that. Because whenever I hear that, and I want y'all to hear this, whenever I hear do Black Lives Matter, I have to ask that question, to my people. Because far as I know, there was only one police or one group of police as the trial is going on that has been accused of killing one African-American person. But there's over 200 and something murders, black on black killing. So I ask the question, if Black Lives Matter, then why are black people killing each other?
Can I answer the question? Can I please answer the question? Sir, hold your hand up. You have to raise your hand. It's going to be answered. You have to raise your hand, sir, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Will Hatter.
How you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me bend my knees a little bit.
Thank you all who are just joining us, by the way. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for welcome back to Park Heights. We'd love to have you here. Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
One of the things I wanted to thank you for, Commissioner, is that, one of the things we've had in this community is we've begun to have some cluster meetings and begun to address some of the problems, not only with the young people, but also looking at Park Heights as a whole. But I can tell you that one of the reasons that this room isn't packed tonight is because we had 4 different community meetings, important community meetings tonight. We had the PCDA meeting, we had the Right Center. So I would hope that we would have another opportunity to have this meeting presented to the full community, because I think it's very important, as all the other meetings were, but the community was so spread out today. So we hope that we have another opportunity to have this presentation. One of the things I would say about the crime in this community in particular is that something we did that worked a few years ago in 2010, we did legislation. This community came together and did legislation to reduce the number of liquor stores or to change the hours of operation of the liquor stores in Park Heights. And it was something that we did collectively, something we did as a community, and we said this is going to be of best interest. It didn't change it much. It just changed the hours of operation so that they couldn't sell liquor before 9 o'clock in the morning. Just give our babies a chance to get to school and, before you go have that drink. But it was significant because that those hours between 6 and 9 a.m. where people were buying liquor, those stores actually lost revenue. As a result, we had 88 liquor licenses here in Park Heights in 2010. Today we have 38. We lost 50 liquor licenses as a result of what this community can do collectively. And that's important because when we take away some of that, it makes the police officer's job easier, because now you don't have some of that criminal hanging around some of these areas in this neighborhood. We still got work to do, because I know even with Transform Baltimore, and I know the city council's working on that, but that's going to get rid of another 6 liquor stores in this community. Okay, and then what we can do as a community is, now we've always had, and I want people to understand this, that we have always had the ability to get rid of liquor stores in our community. The laws have always been on the books for us to be able to do it. And when we see a lot of that criminal element, a lot of the shootings, stabbings, assaults, batteries, all those things happen in proximity, and we have the police stats that say that they're always in proximity to a liquor store or a place where you can get a chicken box. So unfortunately, it's somewhere where we get something that's not healthy for us. And if the idea is that we have a healthier community, we take away the criminal element at the same time, and I think that's something that we should focus on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that to attention. I want to also thank Councilwoman Sharon Green Middleton, who was a huge supporter of that legislation. My administration was a supporter of the legislation and has worked for years to try to reduce the concentration of liquor stores, particularly in this community, worked to reform the liquor board so there could be better enforcement and the community could be heard when it comes to liquor license enforcement, and we continue to work in that way. And I hope that everyone continues to be as vocal as you are with the council, because not everyone on the council shares your views about the importance of reducing the number of liquor stores. We continue to struggle with the Hogan administration that believes that we're blaming liquor stores for all of the social ills of the world, and that they have made it clear that they are supporting the liquor store owners. So the fight is ongoing, and I hope that people in this community understand that. That the legislation is not passed through the council. It's not done. There's a lot of work that continues to try to address this issue of the proliferation of liquor stores in the community. And thank you for that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, if I may, thank you, Will, for your comments. And you did mention multiple meetings tonight. I just wanted to acknowledge, someone forwarded me an email. You had my email wrong, but I did get it. And you also mentioned the fact that there are several meetings. And we were aware that Madam Mayor addressed that earlier. And, this isn't the last opportunity we will have to be in this district. Certainly, we just want to continue to give folks a voice, but thank you. So I want to hope that this engagement, I don't have to respond. I just got your email about an hour ago. It was forwarded to me. Yes, sir. Name and then I know your name, but give us your name and your community.
I'm Derek Lennon. I'm from the Glen community. I just want to say, Will said some of the things I was going to say, but the thing is that in the Northwest District, we have a history of having a very strong relationship with our police department. We just had a meeting, last week, where the room was packed. We had over 60 people there. We've always had very good relationships with our police department. I'm glad to see, and thank you, Madam Mayor, for having this, and also congratulations, Commissioner. But what I want to know is, we've been talking a lot about a lot of things that you plan to do. One of the things, and I'm so glad, I've been one of those people who've been talking about the officer-friendly program for years. We need to bring those things back. But the other thing is the Officer Next Door program. We need to make sure that officers are back into our communities, because right now, a lot of them live in Pennsylvania and Delaware and Reisterstown and places like that. So in order for us to continue to build these relationships, they have to understand what we're dealing with on a daily basis. So a lot of these things, and then the loitering. We keep putting that loitering thing off, but it's posted on a lot of these liquor stores. And what are we going to do about this loitering? Because a lot of that comes from this.
So first, thank you for being here. And I hope you understand, this is not the first meeting we've had in Northwest, nor will it be the last. But we are working to try to keep the pace going with moving through the communities and having these public safety forums along with the other meetings that we're having. With respect to the Officer Next Door, as part of Vacancy to Value, one of the first incentives I put out was a first responders incentive that would offer $10,000 to police and firefighters who moved into the city. We expanded it. Thanks to Councilwoman Middleton's husband, who insisted that we expand to all city employees, particularly his AFSCME members, and I was happy to do so, and we've seen a lot of progress. We've seen, we've created home ownership opportunities for people and have invested significant dollars into creating those incentives to make home ownership a reality for more people. I can say that what we are working on additional incentives for fire and police that would create a tax benefit as well as some family support benefits to enhance what we're doing with the Baltimore Home Ownership Incentive program as part of Vegas to Value. So we're thinking the same thing as far as how do we create those incentives for the officers to move into the city and stay in the city, as well as we're working with Live Baltimore to work with the trainees, because what happens, it doesn't matter if you work in the police department or you come to work at a hospital. If it's a training class, if you're not from here, you gravitate to what everybody else is doing, and we're working to make sure that those trainees know that there's opportunities to live in the city, and we figure if we can get them, to make that first step here, we have a better chance of keeping them after they're done with the program. So we're trying to come at it at a whole lot of different angles. Commissioner?
So we have a pretty robust recruiting and retention committee that we stood up about a month ago. So we're looking to identify and incentivize for our police officers to live in the city, because frankly, 21% of the agency lives in the city. That's not nearly enough. And I've had conversations over a meal or two with the fire chief about that challenge, and he's offered me some great advice. And then Mel Russell, Lieutenant Colonel Russell, the Explorers program, we just got a sizable commitment from a local bank to really do bigger and better things with our Explorers program. But when we look back at our Explorers, and the Explorers should be a pipeline, 14 to 20, Explorer, Cadet, Cop. It should be that easy. So we look back at the last 10 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, Colonel. 18 years. We haven't, an Explorer has not become a Baltimore police officer in how long, Mel?
18 years, the last one I could find.
18 years. So there's something wrong with that. So we want it to be an absolute pipeline. So when you go into that Explorers program, you know, that's it should be a rare exception that someone doesn't end up a cadet, and then an even rarer exception that a cadet doesn't end up being a police officer. So we've identified the problem, and we're going to fix it. We're committed to fixing it. And as Baltimore's newest resident, I mean, I'm here. I'm committed. I'm going to lead by example, and we just have to find a better way forward with it.
Okay. Also, I just want to speak to what Ms. B said about the building trades. We do have a program in this area, which is at JARC, a training program that trains people in construction trades as well as welding and other things as well. So I just wanted to comment on that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Yes, sir. Okay. Your name?
Come on, Augustus. My name is
The name for everybody else.
my name is George Mitchell, and I'm president of Neighborhoods United as well as president of Langston Hughes Community Action Association. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, Commissioner. If you remember, I was on the elevator with you at Commissioner Batt's confirmation, and on our way downstairs, I said, you know what, you may be commissioner one day, and look what happened.
I tell people, I know people get us confused with each other.
Yeah.
But I'm an eighth of an inch taller than he is.
There you go. And I'm going to say this, you know, just about everybody in this room that has anything to do with the police department, the mayor, I've been at a number of fairs with her, Jack and Jill, well, we're at the same room anyway, and I know that your mom loves rice pudding, and I make the best rice pudding in Baltimore. I've been on Augustus since he was a kid, and Lieutenant Colonel here, we went to school together, Lieutenant Russell, I talk to him often. What I haven't heard anybody say here is this: education matters. I got to disagree with the pastor who said that, look at this room. Well, we had a meeting at Edgecombe Circle Elementary. And sure, I was mad because they closed down Langston. It was the best performing school in all of Park Heights, elementary school. And they closed it down and basically sent the kids, quote unquote, to the worst performing school in Park Heights. Okay? What happens with that is this. When we had the back to school parent night at Edgecombe Circle, everybody was complaining that there wasn't going to be nobody there. We had 700 people in that room, standing room only. So I disagree with the fact that people don't care and that people are not going to come out. They are going to come out, but they got to come out for a reason. They don't want to come out to hear us talk about things. They want to come out and actually hear some substance about what we're going to do. You know, we go to a lot of we just left a meeting, Will and I, we go to a lot of meetings, and we hear the same old thing over and over and over again. What we want is something to get done. I'm a firm believer that education solves a lot of issues. We were here last year, and three things they said we didn't have. We didn't have a supermarket, we didn't have a library, and we don't have a place for kids to play. We worked real hard, Neighborhoods United, and trying to get a supermarket to come here to Park Heights. And thank God it's going to open up this week. I think, Mayor, you know, we got an invitation to be there. Right there on Cold Spring Lane, okay? I made a promise to some people in Park Heights, because my mother had a library in her basement when she lived there, when she was living. I made a promise to people in Park Heights that we're going to have a library come January 1. I don't care if I have to put it back in the basement again. You know, because we can't teach our kids to do well if they can't have a place to study, or a place to read, or a place to recreation place. You can't treat people like rats and don't think they're going to act like rats. How are you going to have a community to say we had no supermarket, we had no library, and we had no place for our kids to play? No place. So what has to happen, people? Langston Hughes building is empty now. Why can't it be a library? Why can't it be a rec center? Why can't it be a senior resource center? It's in the Park Heights community. The only thing we have to do is roll our sleeves up and make it happen. We can't close down no more schools in our communities. And I just earlier today, had a conversation with 4 police officers for the Northwest District. I called them, I said, I need you to meet me at this particular house. Just this morning, one of our neighbors saw 4, I'm gonna call them crackheads, coming out the back of a vacant building. He called me, said, Mr. Mitchell, he got his hammer and his nails, and the wood, and we closed it back up. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened about a month ago. Crackhead went to a building on Cordelia Avenue, smoking that mess, and they ended up setting the house on fire, and all 9 houses in that block got burned down, and they still burned down. So folks, we cannot have these people coming to our neighborhoods disrespecting our neighborhoods. I don't blame you, Commissioner, I don't blame the mayor. I blame y'all. I blame y'all. Because they're not coming in my neighborhood disrespecting my neighborhood. I don't care if I gotta call the police 30 times. And I told the police officer that, they said, well, sir, some people get mad at them, but I said, you know what? The first neighbor in the neighborhood that gets mad at you for coming and trying to protect us, you call me and I'll deal with them. See, because this has to stop. How much longer are we gonna let this go on? How much longer are we gonna let it go? We have got to pull ourselves together, and that's why Neighborhoods United was created, to make sure we can start doing some things in our neighborhood. I couldn't care less if Mayor Rawlings came here or not. I'm glad to see her here, but I couldn't care less. Because it's us. It's you. B had a meeting at her house the other day. I had a lot to do, but I thought it was important that I do go to her house. We need to have cultural centers. And as far as Edgecombe Circle is concerned, we starting an after-school program. And you know it's going to be about the same things you just talked about. We got a military component. But guys actually from the Navy and the Army will come and start teaching these kids how to have some discipline, how to be involved in military. We got a financial literacy component where we're going to start teaching our young kids about money and how to handle money because their parents don't even know. We got a guy coming from Boise State University. He's going to talk to them about the best things to be academics and athletics. That, you know, in order to be an athlete, ask every black little kid in Baltimore, he wants to be a basketball player. Well, you got to have education to be a basketball player. So we got to explain that to them, that you got to have that kind of stuff. We taught our kids in Lexington Hughes Spanish and Korean. And you know what? They didn't think that kids can learn that. How can little black kids learn Spanish and Korean? I went to a meeting at Roland Park just the other day, and I asked all those people that want to have all these doggone charter schools, I ain't got nothing against charter, in Baltimore. You ran the kids away from Lexington Hughes, but suppose they were little white kids. How would you feel? And I guarantee you 20 of them came out to me with tears in their eyes. They didn't realize the effect they were, like the man just said, they did not realize the effect they were having on these kids. They had to walk almost a mile to drug-infested areas, and we fought hard in court and finally got transportation for the kids. So they won't have to walk through those devastating neighborhoods. Folks, you can sit here all you want. You can listen to the mayor. You can listen to the commissioner. You hear Augustus say what he's going to say, and you can hear what I'm going to say. But we don't get off our behind and start working in our neighborhoods. I don't care if we do one block at a time or one house. If we don't do that, we're going to die. It's going to be over.
It's good to see you. Now, I have 8:51. Yeah, it's 8:50, so it's like 9 minutes to 9. I wish we had more neighbors like Will and George and Miss B who leave meetings and come and go to other meetings and really are community organizers. So we thank you. I'm going to ask that you be the last person that gives a question or a comment. And those of you who are not here, Madam Mayor officially swore in Commissioner Kevin Davis. And to put the seal on the deal, as they say, we actually have from City Hall the official oath book that they will both be signing.
Oh, no, just him.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, Madam Mayor will witness him signing. So we just would like to do that. And tell you what.
He's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to do that, and then we can get our question and comment from that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the commissioner is right-handed. Right.
You play by the play?
In Park Heights, ladies and gentlemen, how about that? Why don't we give the commissioner a round of applause? Today is the 19th, sir. October 19th. All right.
Very good,
Very good, very good.
Make sure you sign it.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I know it's the first that I've seen this, Madam Mayor. I've never seen, I think this is the first where we've actually, yeah, trendsetter. I like that. I like that. Deputy Mayor Andy Smullian. He has like a stack of those in the back of his Volkswagen. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Demita Queen. I am a public relations specialist as well as Pimlico Merchants liaison. And I just wanted to say, he said everything I was going to say, which was basically that, you know, I'm not from Baltimore. I live in the Reservoir Hill area for 7 years now. I want to say that in the last 7, 8 years that I've been in this city, I have seen it get worse. I'm sorry. I've looked for the better in it, and I haven't seen it. That's why I chose to become a volunteer in this community. I have been actively volunteering in the Park Heights community for all of this year, basically. And my thing is, what I like to tell my employees is that when my employees go out, that I cannot monitor your activities, okay? We monitor results. So I'm about monitoring results. I'm about seeing results, and I haven't seen any results. You know, I've been going to all these community meetings and different things, and I keep hearing about what we can do differently or what we need to do, but I am not seeing no results. I'm not seeing nobody actually get out there and get it done. Okay? So that's all I wanted to let you guys know, that we as community residents, we cannot monitor the activities of what all these different agencies are saying they're going to do or what they can do, revamping this, rebuilding that. All we can monitor at this point is the results of what we see. And I haven't seen it in 8 years, and I think it's time to start doing it. If you need to get like me and just volunteer your services out here to try to make a change, to try to make things different, then that's what needs to be done, okay? Because we need results at this point.
Thank you. We have a supermarket opening.
Yeah, but I just want to say thank you for investing your time in the city.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that's our last question.
So I want to thank you all for coming. You know, we know that we have a lot of challenges in the city, and that's why there are so many of us who have dedicated themselves to work to improve the city every single day. I don't think any of us are satisfied. That's why we continue to work hard. And, you know, whether it is praised or criticized, public service is about doing the work to make the city better. And that is my commitment, my personal commitment to the people of the city that I serve, that we're going to continue to work and tackle the tough problems that have existed in our city and cities across the country for generations, because I have hope that in Baltimore and throughout the country we can get better if we work together. We don't have to like each other, but we can work together as a community if we all want to see better for our community. And that is what I hope we take away from this evening. So thank you all for coming out.